In part one of our comparison between rating and ranking type scoring approaches and true resource supply and demand optimization, we saw that even for a very small set of projects, in this case 6 projects we were considering, we could have as much as a 15% increase in NPV value creation. This is quite significant given that we're only looking at a few time periods, 2 different type of aggregate resources, total human resource FTEs, total development costs compared to the development budget, and like I said, only 6 projects. So this is a very simple model, and even in spite of its relative simplicity, we still see very significant gains in value over the more crude rating and ranking type scoring approaches. Now, what we want to look at now is going beyond this simple model and incorporating many of the different facets of portfolio planning that are quite important, and some of which are impossible to incorporate into a rating and ranking type scoring approach in any kind of rigorous manner, and some other characteristics that, even with true resource optimization, are challenging to do in the Excel or any other type of spreadsheet environment. So let's take a look at some of the additional complexities that are real world concerns that we want to incorporate into our portfolio planning. First, real world portfolios generally have more like tens to hundreds of project investments, especially when considering not only revenue generating type product investments, but also the technology and architecture platforms that they're built upon, and any other types of project investments such as intellectual property development or M&A or licensing type activities. So we're going to end up with a much larger superset of projects to consider, and even though they can be done in the Excel environment, it is a little bit cumbersome. In terms of human resources, we're going to want to break down our resource base into some number of functional area departments, and within those departments, some amount of granularity of skill sets or job classifications. Likewise, on the development cost and budget side, we're going to want to have some degree of specificity on budgets, usually by some number of departments in the organization. And then on the project cost side, we're going to want to have at least the predominant line items of key development expenses to build up the cost side of our project business cases. Projects have relationships between each other. Some are the dependency type, while others are mutual exclusive type relationships. And these both types of these relationships can be combined to model many real world types of situations that we will encounter in portfolio planning. In terms of strategy, there's an infinite number of strategies we may want to reflect into our portfolio planning. I'm showing some examples here related to what percent of resources we want to limit being invested in certain market segments, or a limitation on how many platform type investments we would have going on over a given time horizon. Things like what amount of our revenue over the planning horizon would come from breakthrough type projects versus things like incremental derivatives, and other such strategies as having a certain amount of our revenue coming from projects that are further through the development pipeline and therefore more certain, such as being beyond a given gate or phase type milestone. Risk management as well as a form of strategic strategic criteria, and there's many different types of risk models we might incorporate, but all of them would result in diversifying our risks over the set of project assets. So in summary, there's quite a few dimensions that were not included in the upfront model that we demonstrated in part 1, but you could see that on top of this inherent increase in value creation that we get from doing a true resource optimization, there are a number of other different dimensions that we will want to incorporate moving forward. Thank you very much.